In 1976, in just its second season, the Fifth Estate sent a film crew to the border of Arizona and Utah to do a story about a man with 11 wives. We wondered how they were getting along, so we sent our crew back to the same little border town and found some changes. Now he's the man with 9 wives. But it's more than a change in numbers. What seemed back then to be some kind of countercultural experiment in marital relations has evolved into something far more substantial. These marriages, of course, are not recognized in the eyes of the law because polygamy is illegal in North America. These marriages are contracts drawn up between the man and each of his wives. Should I bring him down? This was how our film ended in 1976, with Alex Joseph surrounded by his 11 wives, getting married one more time. But this marriage was soon over. Wife number 12 now lives monogamously with a park ranger. Adrian Clarkson, the first host of the Fifth Estate, was among the guests observing the ceremony.
We haven't eliminated all of the jealousy, we've eliminated some. And we haven't eliminated all of our negative attributes by any means.
Alex Joseph believes that men are naturally polygamous, but women are monogamous by nature. And whatever you think of that, his family is a fine example of his theory, he says today.
I've been married to 4 or 5 girls more than 17 years. And then most of the members of the family have gotten 10 or 15 years in. So I made a commitment. I've been here. I didn't leave. You know, I said I'll be the husband, I'm still here. I said I'll be the daddy, I'm still here.
Here is Lake Powell on the border of Arizona and Utah, set amid the spectacular canyons of a U.S. national park. In Arizona and Utah alone, it's estimated there are about 30,000 people living in polygamous families, most of them quietly and discreetly. But on the shores of Lake Powell in Big Water, Utah, population 400, it's no secret where the Joseph family lives. It's the big building on the right that dominates the town.
I don't know what their private lifestyle is, but I do know this, that it hasn't been the orgies that people have asked me about and wanted me to explain. It's absolutely stupid the way some people think of polygamy.
Bill Tornbaum is the volunteer fire chief of Big Water, and he's used to questions from the curious. Do you think the Josephs are good advertising or good publicity for Big Water?
I think so. I think so. We get a lot of what we call tourists through here every Sunday, big-eyed, looking around. They don't even know what the hell they're looking for, but they're looking around. A lot of people ask up there, is that a motel up there? Is that your town hall up there? And I say, nah, I say, some guy and his 9 wives live up there. What? Can you imagine 9 women hollering at you all at once? Jeez. Their eyes get big and they look, and he's got 9 wives. I said, yeah. Oh, I don't believe that. I said, okay, fine, I knew you wouldn't anyway.
There are about 100 kids at the local school in Big Water, and not surprisingly, the most common name on the school register is Joseph. There are 14 children, 3 of them adopted. But nowadays, Alex Joseph is Big Daddy in more ways than one. When the town council meets under its banner of We the People turn out to have a lot in common. The mayor is Alex Joseph, a former Republican turned libertarian who has abolished property taxes in Big Water. The town clerk is Delinda Joseph, wife number 8, and lawyer Elizabeth Joseph, wife number 7, is the town attorney. One of the councilors, James Alexander, is the eldest son of Mayor Joseph, and there's also a nephew who happens to be deputy sheriff of the town.
You know, there were 2 pieces, 2.5-acre parcel. One was, they were both subdivided.
And when the council meeting's over, lawyer Elizabeth Joseph becomes the local newspaper's editor.
The headline does appear.
Well, your copy's sitting right there.
I know, but it goes on 3 pages.
The Big Water Times is put together by Elizabeth and Delinda Joseph and by Ioanna Joseph, wife number 5, who's a graphic artist and calligrapher. And one of the biggest advertisers in the Big Water Times is this company, Palanquin Realty. The proprietor is Boudica Joseph, wife number 6, and she sells all the real estate around here.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad you could make it. Thank you. Ready to go look at some houses today?
Yes.
Well, you're going to be pleased when you see our prices out here.
Once you've bought your property, you'll find the meter gets checked by Pamela Joseph, wife number 3, who works for the power company when she's not doing construction. We don't have to tell you who owns the grocery store. It's partly run by wife number 2, Margaret, the mother of 5 Josephs. Back in 1976, the patriarch believed none of his wives should have to work.
That was my own macho nonsense, you know. I didn't want the criticism of saying, oh, well, a man shouldn't have more family than he can take care of. Well, I demonstrated I could take care of them, and then, you know, but that was restricted to them, and it was just an ego thing with me. I didn't need it.
Are you still the boss?
Oh, I'm still the boss, yeah.
There is no other man like him. And I don't care how many women you had to share him with, it's worth it to have whatever part of him that you do have.
Now, I think I missed something here. So you married Alex. Once they looked like flower children. Now they're coming up to their 40s, except for Dawn, the youngest wife, who's 18. The other 3 were roommates at college. Badiku sells real estate. Joanna, the graphic artist at the newspaper. And Elizabeth, the lawyer and editor. They all married Alex within a year of each other.
The best part of marrying Alex after Alex, besides Alex, was getting back together.
As friends?
Yeah. Yeah, I really missed these guys when I first got married. I thought I'd left it. I thought I had to leave them behind. It was really nice when I found out I didn't.
And when she married Alex, we kind of took it as a personal betrayal. You know, she was leaving us. Felt really bad.
And then when I got married, I used to put pictures of Elizabeth around so Alex would see them and bugged him constantly until he went and got her to come down.
What about for you, Dawn? What sort of things do you want out of your life, and how do you think this family will help you achieve it?
Well, I didn't really have any expectations. We moved here when I was 7 years old, so it's fairly old hat. You know, it's what I grew up around. A couple of my friends and I were sitting up in a tree one day, and...
You were how old?
8.
Okay.
And we were just discussing who we wanted to marry. And my dad had overheard, and he had a little talk with me and asked me if I was serious and stuff, and he discussed it with Alec.
This is where you said that you wanted to marry Alec.
Mm-hmm. And Alex says, well, she's too young, you know, let's wait a little while. And they discussed it again when I was 9, and I moved in with his family and have been living with him since I was 10.
But you married him when you were?
I married him this last June.
And how has your relationship with him changed since you got married?
It hasn't. I mean, not really. It's basically the same.
Some might look at you and see bright, articulate, attractive women and wonder why you chose this lifestyle, why not a more traditional monogamous relationship.
There aren't any alternatives out there that are attractive in comparison. Every woman is sharing her husband with his work, with his mistress, with any other multiple
But you
things.
share yours with a number of other...
Right, and I know it's very defined. I know who I'm sharing my relationship with, and I don't feel that I'm just married to Alex. I feel I'm married to a family and a system and an ideal that I'd like to keep going, and that there's children that I want to see grow and learn. And I wouldn't want to sever this relationship with the other women. So unless we could find a man as good as Alex that we all agreed to marry, I don't see it working.
Do you think it takes a certain kind of person to live in a relationship like this, a certain talent for polygamy?
It certainly takes a certain intelligence, because there are so many times you have to make an intellectual choice that you know is right, even though your training or your emotions or everything else is crying against that. And you just have to make an intelligent decision. And it isn't a lifestyle for stupid people.
Many of the wives now own homes of their own across the road from the main Joseph building. Through real estate and political deals, the family has come a long way in the past 12 years.
We're free, and we're rich, and we're intimidating.
It's the intimidating part that got the attention of the Lake Powell Chronicle, the main weekly in the region. It published allegations that the Joseph family took control of a small community fund for its own purposes. That didn't make Alex Joseph popular with some of his big water neighbors.
Alex Joseph will get his. Someday somebody will come along and they'll probably kill the man. And when they do, Bigwater is going to have the biggest party you've ever seen. Somebody will get him.
The allegations were vague. Anyway, Alex Joseph denies any wrongdoing. But the neighbors say a lot of people in Bigwater aren't willing to talk.
Do you know how many people I called? I must have called about 30 people today. And they all turn out with colds and everything else. They don't want to say nothing against him.
Why you're saying that they're afraid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they afraid?
Retaliation.
Retaliations.
I figure,
He
well,
has so many wives and so many people that are in his corner that the people that are opposed, we can't get in.
no. There it is.
Well, that's true.
They just have a lock on things? There's so many of them?
That's partly the town's fault, too, because there's a lot of people here that are more or less intimidated.
If people are intimidated by freedom, that's their problem, not mine. And then I'm not going to... should I pretend to be weak or what? I mean, I don't understand. I like to take advantage. I have a strong personality. I use it to my advantage. Why wouldn't I do that?
They never intimidated me. I know a couple of times I've intimidated a couple of them.
Yeah.
They never intimidated me. They've never, ever given me a nickel's worth of trouble.
Back in the 1970s, when Alex Joseph was a homesteader with his family, he had a small armory.
Fire.
He trained his wives to use guns for their protection, he said.
Well, I don't think it comes as any surprise to anybody that the world's full of burglars, bandits, rapists, murderers, crackpots, kooks, assassins, screwballs, nuts. Did you change it?
I didn't touch it.
"12 years later, with no guns on display, Joseph and his 9 wives settled down like any suburban family in front of the VCR to see themselves as they were.
The Fifth Estate.
I don't like any of them well enough to want to spend all my time with them. But I love them all very much, and I enjoy being with them.
The family, including the children, hadn't seen the film before, and yesterday's 2-week-old baby is today's young teenager. 7 wives remain from those days. Margaret.
Okay. Sex.
And Leslie. Wife number 1, Diane, mother of the first son, and Pamela, mother of 2 girls. Others have left the family, but not Joanna, the graphic designer, nor the president of the real estate company, Boudica. All of them seemed moved by the film of the way they were, including Elizabeth the lawyer, town attorney, and newspaper editor.
Cheese, everybody.
Do you ever sense any sexual frustration?
We've learned people out there are victims of long years of propaganda about the sexual nature of men and women. And in our family, we've gotten back a lot closer to our true natures. Men and women are really different.
I only know my own experience, and I know that I'd find a monogamous relationship very oppressive, and I know why the monogamists out there are complaining that they're slaves to their husband's sexual, drive, and just a completely frustrating situation where a woman can hold the relationship out as a club to beat him with and deprive him of.
We were young and immature and new and full of a lot of confidence and faith, and it's a heck of a vindication 12 years later to say I was right in what I thought then. I know now what I believed then.
Do you think you'll marry again?
Yep.
Why?
Love those girls. I just know there's some good girls out there, I'm sure, and I'm going to run onto them and yeah, I'm going to get married again. Sure. You got to like women, you got to like kids. That's from the male perspective. A lot of men don't like women, they don't like kids. I love them. Intelligence helps. You have to get past that emotional nonsense that most people intrigue around with in their lives that cause them so much grief. like that commitment. Is it an emotional commitment or is it an intellectual commitment? You know, mine's an intellectual commitment. I just do what I say I'll do, and I do it every day, whether I feel like it or not. It's called manliness, you know.